We were silent for a long time, lost in memories that the murmur of the morning wind carried across the treetops. Cotton from the trees drifted lazily in the heavy air. The silence spoke, not with harsh sounds, but softly to the rhythm of our blood. "What is it?" I asked, for I was still afraid. "It is the presence of the river," Ultima answered. I held my breath and looked at the giant, gnarled cottonwood trees that surrounded us. Somewhere a bird cried, and up on the hill the tinkling sound of a cowbell rang. The presence was immense, lifeless, yet throbbing with its secret message. "Can it speak?" I asked, and drew closer to Ultima. "If you listen carefully," she whispered. And now I invite you to listen to the sounds, the rhythm, the story of the Rio Pecos. Its water divides, but more so connects and feeds life. Its presence, more easily sensed than touched, ebbs and flows with the seasons, with the cycles of life and death, of families, food, communities, and wildness. The origin of the name Pecos is mysterious, with possible Indian roots. Piacu, the Indian name for a pueblo at the river's headwaters, or Spanish roots, pecoso, meaning freckled or spotted like the cows or vacas along the river's banks. Long celebrated as the geographic demarcation of where the West begins, the Pecos River has been romanticized in novels, posters, and songs where the Wild West sparks bravado and passion for untamed frontiers. Connecting wet and dry frontiers is a critical source of water in this semi-arid region. The Pecos River descends from the 12,000-foot western peaks of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, punctuating the diverse landscape of northern New Mexico and West Texas while shaping culture and nourishing life. The Pecos hydrates, feeds, and sustains along its 926-mile path from north of Pecos, New Mexico to its Rio Grande River confluence in Del Rio, Texas. Ranchers, farmers, recreationists, vegetation, and wildlife alike depend on the hydrating lifeline of the river, which defines the Pecos River Basin. This area encompasses 44,300 square miles, home to mountainous wilderness, arid ranch country, and fertile agricultural fields. The river's flow and course change from full and wide to narrow and deep, depending on the seasons. Fishing is best from April through late September, with abundant trout, including Rio Grande cutthroat, New Mexico's state fish. With increased human intervention and the construction of several dams along its course, the shape and flow of the Rio Pecos has changed even more since the early 20th century, with intermittent man-made lakes whose dam discharge rates fluctuate from 20 to 200 cubic feet per second. Winter snowmelt and summer monsoons increase mountain flows and downstream recreation opportunities at Santa Rosa and Fort Sumner Lakes, where kayakers, anglers, birdwatchers, campers, and swimmers delight in these desert oases. Although engineering and technology have shaped the river's course, the Rio Pecos persists as the agricultural lifeline of the area. Local farmers continue a traditional agrarian way of life passed down from their elders, like sowing seeds of local heritage food crops, such as the famous Puerto de Luna chili. Farming along the river has long been a way of life, from centuries past when small-scale family gardens and farms sustained locals with abundant corn, chilies, melons, squash, and apples. We use clotheslines to dry chicos and ate beans and tortillas for lunch. As many Puerto de Luna locals recall, although there may not have been money, no one ever went hungry.
It was a way of feeding your family. You raised your own, and you didn't have to go out and have money to get food because you raised it all yourself.
When asked if traditional farming practices are dying out, if they're a remnant of the past, Julian Salazar of Puerto de Luna responds firmly, "It's not dying off. We're trying to maintain this way of life, this lifestyle. It's not about cash value. It's not for sale. This is beneficial to us and the next generation." Indeed, growing food from the Pecos' fertile soils and water leaves a strong presence in the lives of locals. Both locals and visitors alike may enjoy Puerto de Luna chili at a number of Santa Rosa eateries, including the Comet restaurant, where Johnny the owner and local farmer serves up the whole nine, a green chili enchilada feast fit for the biggest and most discriminating appetite. But the Rio Pecos is more than hydrating lifeline. It is the lifeblood of culture, story, mystery, and marvel, infused in its surrounding communities.
There's got to be something that keeps people tied to the land. There's got to be something maybe more valuable than money. Do you know what that is?
It's just the beauty around you. And that's the way I've always felt.
Can you speak to it? I asked, as the whirling, haunting sound touched us. Aye, my child, you want to know so much. And the presence was gone. Come, it is time to start homeward. She rose and with the sack over her shoulder hobbled up the hill. I followed. I knew that if she did not answer my question, that part of life was not ready to reveal itself to me. But I was no longer afraid of the presence of the river. What of Santa Rosa, Puerto de Luna, your life, can be revealed as you listen carefully to the whisper, the whirl, the presence of the river, and how does the Rio Pecos continue to nourish and inspire with its hydrating mystery?